Thank everybody for coming out on such a tough night out there weather-wise to the February meeting for the Farmville Board of Commissioners. Letting the record reflect that all commissioners are present. All those having business with the town will be heard at citizen presentation and at the close of our meeting, where you can ask questions with citizen comments about anything you hear and may not have all the information you need. We will address that. Before we get started, I'd like to step out and do just a little different before I ask Paul to deliver the invocation. First and foremost, I'd like to welcome Diane, our Recreation Director, back. Girl, it is good to see you. Thank you for all you do, and welcome back. And we hope everything was like you wanted when you got back. Thank you, and glad the baby's doing good. Second thing I'd like to do is I'd like to say a special hello to Donna Williams. She is our Public Information Director. And Donna, we look forward to you getting the word out and the way correct word, and so there'll be no misunderstandings about what's coming out of the town of Farmville, and thank you for that. And also tonight, I'd like to special salute and thank you to my friend Sergeant John Spruill. 31 years ago tonight, Sergeant Spruill and I were on a convoy between Dhahran and Artawaya in the Persian Gulf, and that was not Sergeant Spruill's first war. He was in Vietnam also, so says a lot for the 691st Maintenance Company here in Farmville and all those in the area that served in the Gulf War, and we thank you for that. So with that being said, it is time for Paul Ellis to come before us and give us the invocation. After that, I'll lead us in the pledge. If you'll stand, please.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight with humble hearts, giving thanks for all the blessings you have given to each of us. We thank you for the gift of life. We thank you for the opportunity to live in our great town. But most of all, we thank you for sending your Son so that we may have everlasting life. Father, we ask that you bless those in our town that are sick and suffering. Put your healing hand upon them. Bless those that have lost loved ones. Be especially close to them at their time of need. Now, as we enter our allotted time to attend the affairs of our town, we ask for guidance for our elected officials as they make decisions that may affect all of us. May each action taken and word spoken be pleasing in your sight. Lead, guide, and direct us, and we give your name to honor and praise for all things. It is in your Son's holy name that we pray. Amen.
Amen. Join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Please take your seats. That brings us down to citizens' presentation. And Ms. Tyson, if you would just come to the podium and give us your name and address for the benefit of the camera, we'd appreciate it.
I'm Annie Tyson Ellis, live at 4390 Wallace Street. And some of the concerns, they're coming from the young people. They wanted to know if they were having a prom this year. And then they wanted to know about the COVID policy at school, where if there's someone in the home that has tested positive for COVID, as long as the child has had 2 shots, they can go to school. And the other thing was, they said that the children are only required to stay out 5 days instead of the normal 2 weeks. So those are some questionable things. And we just like to know where we're going, what we're doing, and how we're going to have the children be protected in the schools.
Thank you, Ms. Annie. Thank you so much. As you know, the board does not address from citizen comments, but David, I hope you will take appropriate action to make sure that those comments get to the person that represents us, and they have a good understanding that the citizens have now come to the town board and expressed their concerns. And Ms. Ellis, you're one of many that has asked the town to step in on this, and we'll see where it goes, and I thank you for that. That brings us down to the town manager's comments. Town manager?
Thank you, Mayor, members of the board. Just have a few quick comments. In your packet, you should see a budget calendar for the year. This time of year, we release the calendar It follows the same pattern as previous years, and we are targeting the first Monday in May as the public hearing for you, as you've done in the past years, and also the first Monday in June as the public hearing and adoption date with, of course, budget workshops, one or more in between those two dates. So we'll start, the departments will start doing their budget in the coming weeks, and then we'll have it for you in May. Also wanted to report that back in October, as you recall, we had a dedication of the fountain in front of Town Hall in honor of former Mayor Bobby Evans. And at the ceremony, there was I guess a replica of a plaque that was going to be mounted on the fountain. Well, that plaque has finally come in because of delays and, I guess, all products seem to be delayed this time. We were unable to get it in a timely fashion. So that has just come in. We have it now, and we're going to get it professionally mounted. And we will let you know when it's going to be available in its permanent location. I also wanted to report that I mentioned a few times here in this room that we have had a consultant working on a new town website. That website has been completed, and staff has done text edits on the content, and so the consultants have all that information now, and so we are waiting for them to work out all the last technical bugs, and as soon as that is ready to launch, hopefully this month, I will let you know. So look for a new, fresh new website in the next, hopefully, week or two. And then the last thing I wanted to mention, I know Commissioner Alks has been working hard on the Farmville 150-year parade. That is scheduled for this Saturday at 11 a.m. on Main Street in downtown Farmville, February 12th, Saturday being the town's 150th year anniversary. And so I hope all of you will attend the parade, participate in the parade, or whatever you can do.
Anybody have any questions of the town manager? Any questions? Seeing none. Don, are you able to hear okay? Okay. Just one quick note, that 150th committee under the leadership of Michael Cable has really done some great things. And Brenda, we thank you for what is going to happen Saturday. We're real excited, and I'm sure we'll hear more about that. The next item is the financial report board. That is in your book. Anybody have any questions of Amy on that, on the financial report? Anybody have any questions of Amy? Anybody? Seeing none. Amy, thank you for the job you're doing there. Brings us to item G, changes, additions, deletions to the agenda. Is there anything on this agenda that you would like taken off or added to? Anybody?
You want me to address that?
Yes.
Okay. There's one item that we're asking the board to consider tabling till the next meeting. That is item number 6, the consideration of revisions to the Farmville Public Library Code of Conduct. I did talk with the library director today, and there's still some questions among some of you about interpretation of the policy and certain issues there, and also spoke with the town attorney briefly about it. And the agenda for the retreat already has an item related to the library. That may be a better time to flesh out some of those things. We should have more information by that time, so I would ask that the board consider tabling the item number 6 until the retreat.
You've heard the request from town manager. A motion that we table?
I'll make a motion that we take it off and table that, item number 6 about the library.
Commissioner Smith has made a motion that we table item 6 until after the board retreat. And you've heard the motion. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item number 6 will be tabled and moved. Quick comment on that. If you haven't been to the library, I strongly suggest you go. It is amazing things. I think Saturday they had, what, maybe close to 50 people. Right, Commissioner Dixon?
I'd say 150.
It is unbelievable. And Kearney, with the library board here, thank you for what you folks are doing. It's doing everything we thought it would do. Thank you so much with the library. That brings us down to item H, which is a public hearing. Carl, you got this, right?
Yes, sir.
It's concerning the the rezoning request and decide on a request for parcel 87736 located on May Boulevard and West Torrent Avenue. And Paul?
Okay. This request is to rezone the southern portion of Pitt County parcel 87738. It's located at the corner of May Boulevard and Horn Avenue from Highway Business District to Residential 5. The portion of this parcel to be rezoned is 0.49 acres of the 2.51 acre tract purchased by the town to build our fire department. The parcel was originally two separate parcels that were recombined into one parcel in 2021. The character of the area is primarily residential and recreational, with all adjacent lots on zone R5. This parcel is currently zoned R5 on its northern border, but the southern border, which is the Res TV lot, remains Highway Business District. While we can, both R5 and Highway Business District allow for governmental uses such as our fire department as a special use, the setback requirements in Highway Business District is 50 feet, whereas in the R5 setback is 25 feet. This request is being made to bring the entire lot into conformity with the R5 zoning for the construction of the new Farmville fire station. Planning and Zoning Board reviewed this request at their last meeting and voted to recommend the requested change to this board. At this time, staff is requesting the southern portion of the property be rezoned from Highway Business District to R5.
Hold on, because I'm going to get you to state that again. Anybody got any questions of Paul at this time? Seeing none, this is a public hearing. Is there anyone that wishes to speak on this topic? This is a public hearing. Anybody wishes to speak? Anybody wishing to speak? Seeing none, I declare this public hearing closed. Paul, I'm going to get you to come back. Tell us exactly what you're asking for, board, at that time. I'll entertain a motion.
Okay, we're requesting that Pitt County parcel 87738, which is the southern portion of the property, to be rezoned from Highway Business District to R5, Residential 5.
Is there a motion or comments?
I want to ask a question. When you say we are requesting, who is we?
Actually, it's Justin carried it to the planning board.
Okay.
And what he's trying to do is just get all this conforming with some lot, because right now, part of the lot is Highway Business District, that little 5.49 acres, and the rest is residential, R5.
I just wondered who we was.
Oh, yeah, it won't be.
Well, actually, the town of Farmville is the applicant because we
Yeah,
have the land.
yes.
So, we would really be the town. We're the applicant.
Okay.
Town. We being the town is the applicant.
Good with that.
I'm looking at you for a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the rezoning of the property from Highway Business District to Residential R5.
Folks, you've heard the motion from Commissioner Smith. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you for that. That'll bring us down to item I, which is items for consent. Board, you've had a chance to look at those items. Is there anything you'd like to pull off, or is there a motion that we accept items of consent?
I'll make a motion, we accept the items of consent.
Commissioner Elks has made a motion that we accept item I, the items of consent. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. That brings us down to items for discussion and decision, and item number 5. And as Jay prepares, I want to thank you folks on the board for the time that you have put in away from your jobs and family to meet with Jay and be prepared for tonight. And Jay, I thank you for an outstanding job, sir. The room is yours.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all. I think everybody knows I'm Jay Paris. I'm with Bear Paris and Davenport, Tennessee, and I'm proud to have Carly Jernigan, one of our CPAs, here with us tonight. She and Amy are the ones that have done all the work. I'm just here getting on the board. This is your 6/30/21 results. And, you know, you all have a financial audit, and it's a report that's over 100 pages long, and it's been submitted to the local government commission. You all haven't seen it yet because it's been submitted. They usually review it, and we don't put a cover on it and distribute it to you all until they perform their review. We don't anticipate any changes, but we just usually don't disperse it until they bless it. But your audit is a financial audit, and then it's a single audit. You also have a CPG And because you spent over $750,000 of federal funds, we had to do a single audit of that program. And that came out fine, clean, no problems. I'm going to start a little different tonight than I normally do and just tell you, you got a clean opinion. Your audit is unmodified, so that's the opinion that the Local Government Commission is looking to receive. And you're in good shape. Some statutes passed last year that in addition to requiring us to be here presenting the audit results, we've actually got to get into some performance indicators. This is a new statute. Used to, we submitted your report, the Local Government Commission analyzed your financials, and they would write you a letter saying, here are some things you need to look out for, what we're trying to improve upon. Well, they shifted that responsibility to the auditors this year. So in addition to doing our audit, we actually had to plug your numbers in, look at financial ratios, and we've got some topics called performance indicators that we have got to, it's our job now to present it to you all so you're aware of it. And you've actually got to, within 60 days, write them a letter, tell them that you're aware of it and what you're going to do to fix it. So before I go through the audit, you have one small statute violation that deals with transfers, and we'll get into that in detail, and you have 3 performance indicators. One of the performance indicators is fund balance, and it not quite being where the Local Government Commission thinks the new norm should be. You've got one that deals with cash flows in the electric fund as to how much cash they want you to have on hand to operate efficiently. And then you've got a finding that deals with your audit report not being submitted by December 1st. So that one's on us, of course. And you have everything ready to us. We have a busy workload. We're dealing with COVID in a lot of the towns that we audit. And we really got in and did your audit in November, December, like we always do it, presented in January. So we're on the exact same time frame that we've always done this audit. But, it's not what the LGC wants, and so that is one of your performance indicators. So knowing that you have one statute violation with transfers and 3 performance indicators, that will help me as I go through this, because I can sort of touch on them because you'll see evidence of some of them as we look through the slides. But the short of it is you got a good, clean opinion, which is what they want. With your single audit, when you see your funds, you had no findings. So the big picture is the audit report is clean. And then as we start going through the slides, I will point out to you which are some of the indicators that state statute now requires we put out, as opposed to them analyzing it and coming back and sending you a letter 6 months from now. So it's supposed to speed the process. Used to, it's in one flag and get the audit report and analyze it and write you a white letter. Now they just want us to go ahead and approach those topics now. So each of you has a handout, and I'm not going to read the first 2 or 3 pages. There's a letter that's required communications that lets you know what we've done, that we didn't have any issues or findings. I'm not going to read that 3-page letter, but it's in the front of each of you. Fund balance is something we normally talk about. Fund balance, the blue line is your fund balance, and the solid blue is the amount that you have reserved. So they like to talk to you about undesignated fund balance. So the difference in the tall box and the short box is what you have available for a rainy day. And you will have approximately $1.4 million of undesignated fund balance. Now that number previous year was 2.1. So what you're going to see in the next slide is your fund balance has gone down a little bit, but you did this knowingly. I mean, you all spent about $1.2 million on things this past year improving the town. I mean, you did some parking lot paving, you did some facade grant programs, you did some biosecurity renovations to the town hall, you did some fire station planning and design, some police department renovations, you bought some police radios, a fire truck, you did a splash pad, got a mini estimator for public works. I mean, you all spent $1.2 million of capital items that y'all don't do every year. So when we look at this decrease, you know, your fund balance was 46, you know, now it's 23, and that's my number. The LGC computes a little different, they're at 33. But again, we've always told you 8's a minimum. 24 has previously been the LGC's recommended level. Well, they actually decided in this past year that they think, you know, 4 months, so they think 33-34% is now the new target. So one of our performance indicators is that they want you to get your fund balance to 34%, and you're at 33. So, I mean, again, you've worked hard to build your fund balance up. Intentionally spend it on some good things around the town, but whenever your performance indicators is that now the LGC wants to see that number be at about 34%. So, you know, while you've got a decrease here, you knowingly spent the money on things around town, you're within a point of being what their new norm is. So, you know, you got a performance indicator, but I don't think you need to be alarmed. I think you just need to look at this fund balance and go, okay, we spend some things, we're not going to do that every year. But now we need to cinch a bill up and keep an eye on it. So again, one of the performance indicators is that they want to see your fund balance be at 34 and you're at 33.09. So that's fund balance. Revenues over expenditures. The blue line is your general fund, the light blue line are your enterprise funds, which is water, sewer, electric. Your general fund has historically operated at a deficit, and then your enterprise funds make some annual transfers over to help with general administrative type things. The town manager's salary, your finance officer's salary. So there are monies customarily moved from the enterprise funds over to the general fund. So this year, again, in this $1 million deficit, you spent, you know, $1.2 million on capital outlay items. So that was intentional. Capital outlay in the general fund is an expenditure. So this is before transfers. And then after transfers, you see now the deficit in the general fund was $400,000. So again, you operated at a surplus the last 2 years. This year, you're still at a deficit even after the reimbursements. Again, you got your list of things that you did within the town to account for that. All right, your electric fund. All right, one of the performance indicators that the numbers indicated was your electric fund is operated at a deficit for 3 years. And they want you to have 2 months of cash flow in the bank account for the electric fund. The losses that you've had for the last 3 years, you don't meet their required or their suggested level. So one thing we got to look at in your electric fund is possible rates. You all had a decrease in your power cost maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and I think y'all passed that along. In hindsight, you may have passed a little too much of that along. So what the numbers are indicating is you need to look at your electric rates. You may even need to look at your study of how much you reimburse the general fund. General administrative type expenses. But again, usually we wouldn't be required to make a comment about this, but with the new performance indicator statutes, we now have to point out to you, hey, this is an indicator that's on the radar because of the formulas, and you all will need to, you know, within 60 days, just address, hey, we've operated at a deficit 3 years, here's what we're going to try to start doing to right this, possibly look at rates, look at what we transfer.
Jay, what's up? I mean, I've been here a long time, and I don't, out of those 5 years, what's a year supposed to look like? Like, it's 2018, I mean, we don't want to just take everybody's money. We don't want to lose money. Is 2017 better, 2018? What's the ideal?
Well, there's a fine, you know, you can't make too much money and build up too much reserve for people where you're charging too much.
Right.
If you start losing money, then hey, I mean, you got to find, I mean, ideally, break even for sure, a little profit would be great.
Okay.
Because, again, you need to have reserves set aside for repairs, maintenance, improvements. I mean, operating at break even isn't really keeping you ahead.
Right.
And again, one of their performance indicators is they want to see you with about 2 months worth of cash in the bank, and then you gotta have a little bit of a surplus to make that happen. So
There's no clear-cut answer, but somewhere just above break even.
it's a 3-month decline, just sending off a whistle to them that, hey, somebody needs to make sure they're looking at it.
Yeah. Thank you.
And again, the only thing to do there is look at rates. Water fund. The water fund operated at about $150,000 deficit this year. And again, to just keep you out of your water.
Yeah, wasn't that due to close out of that one capital project?
Yes, you had actually, you're right, you had about a $130,000 or $120,000 close out to the overrun. I think actually you're right. There was a project, a water project from 3 or 4 years ago that had closed out at a deficit and it had just been sitting there and the money had never been moved to make that right. So there wasn't any. So you take that out and you probably were at a small surplus. So yes, there's a one-time closeout actually causing that. Your sewer's been doing, actually has leveled out. The problem there is you sold the sludge unit. You know, I we went over that last year. You had a big asset that didn't work and you had to dispose of it. So that decrease was due to one item. But otherwise, your sewer fund is operating at probably a safe surplus there, just enough to keep things covered and add a little bit each year. That would probably be a good.
That's a good, okay.
All right. Having cashes, the blue lines here represent the town's fixed assets. You've got $65 million worth of lines, tanks, transformers, wells, you know, water, sewer, electric assets out there in service. The aqua line there is what percent they're used up based on their useful life. Ideally, as this wears out, this cash will be, you know, building right along with it to replace it. Now, if you do a major replacement, you're going to have a lot of times you're going to have some sort of grants. You're not going to need 100% of that coverage right there. But as one of your performance indicators is an electric fund, they will have a little bit. So again, to build your cash, probably got to look at place. Property tax rate, your rate is 49 cents per 100. The pink line is just there for information. It's the state average. Your tax rate has not changed. Property tax collection percentage is 98%. So you actually had an increase in your collection percentage. State average is 98.6. So again, and you turned over your collections to Pitt County this past year. So this will be the first year Pitt County actually was in charge of collecting. So they're doing all the collecting, just mailing you a check. Again, your collection percentage is right there tracking along. And these are hard to read, but it's $389 million worth of revenue generating about $1.8 million worth of property tax. And again, the increase here is with the revaluation. Y'all have this in the book. It's a little hard to see here, but this is just a summary of our findings. It's in the back of your audit once you get a valid copy. But you have one deficiency, which is going to be a budget, a transfer that I'll go over in detail. And then with your federal awards, which were CDBG, you had no issues, so your audit was clean. Okay, the one finding, because you all are a part of the municipal power agency, you are limited to how much money you can transfer from the electric fund to the general fund. computation is you take 3% of your fixed assets, come up with a number, and according to the statute, you cannot transfer any more of that amount. Amy actually does the computation. She computed the amount, and then you all came back on top of that and budgeted $82,500 to go for economic development. So prior to that, you were within the statutory limits. The 82.5 that you decided to budget for economic development actually puts you $54,000 outside the statutory limit. So I think what you got to do going forward is when you calculate that 3% maximum transfer, you need to factor in economic development within that amount and not on top of that amount. And it's actually turned out that you've been doing this for a number of years. Local Government Commission hadn't really picked up on it. We hadn't really picked up on it, but with this new worksheet and it forced us to key in some performance indicators, it brought it to light in the computation. So we actually called the Local Government Commission and said, hey, has this not been a problem in the past? And they said, well, your electric fund has been in good shape. We looked at that transfer being for economic development, and we just, they hadn't made a big deal about it. But it came up as a statute violation. We needed to, once we became aware of it, we had to. So you got to pay attention to what you're transferring from electric to general. And then the other performance indicator I spoke about earlier was wanting you to have more cash in your electric fund. That's also sort of saying, be careful once you transfer to the general. So that's the only blemish in your audit report is this performance statute. Okay, and as I told you earlier, new statute this year is that we present performance indicators to you all now, rather than you waiting for the OGC to come back and hit you with them later. And they were, like we already talked about, your fund balance, you're at 33.09, they want you to be at 34. They run cash flows, they want you to have 2 months worth of cash on hand or strive to get there. And then you had the statutory violation that we just talked about with the transfer, and then your audit report being submitted after this. So in a nutshell, these are your we'll call, again, you got 1 statute violation, 3 performance indicators that you all need to get out in front of and start working towards. So again, the purpose of pointing out performance indicators is the LGC's way of getting y'all to be proactive and look at something before it becomes a detrimental issue. So, and then, we sort of put the details that I've already talked about. They want to see 34%, you're at 33. I'm not going to go through these last few slides, but they're in your report, just giving you the meat. 16% is 2 months. You're just shy of a month's worth. And then here's the write-up of the fact that you're in the municipal power agency. It limits you to 3% for transfers, and you end up being $54,000 over. So again, this is the details of what I sort of have covered, and it's in there for you to see it in detail. And then again, the date of y'all report is due by December 1st. Submitted it before January 31st. You're already for 20 years, and the last 10 or 12 we always presented in January, presented in January. Again, some of this is on us and our workload. Amy has her work done, closed out to us in September. We have a pretty large load of audits, and we just put y'all in that slot every year. So I can't let y'all take heat over that. That's kind of on us, and we just had to work through that one together.
I think we've all worked through and around the COVID, so thank you for what you've been doing.
So in a nutshell, unmodified opinion, clean, 1 statute violation, 3 areas of things you need to look at, work on, address. You're going to be required to write a letter within 60 days, and we'll help Amy get y'all through that process and tell you where to send the letter and sort of how to do it. But use 3 of these things you're going to need to put some thought into what can we do to turn them around. and just acknowledge that you're aware of them, and they've been presented, and then it's, within 60 days of tonight, you all have to have a letter into the OGC.
Jay, would you just reiterate for Donna's benefit so that we get this right, that these were suggestions and they came about after, had it not been for this additional month, which I'm glad to see personally, we would have been textbook pretty much. And the fact that we had the money in the fund balance, that we invested in the right way, and that these are suggestions and less than the point of what we got to do, that's just a hill to a mountain climber in my world.
Well, for how many years I've been standing here telling y'all you ought to shoot for 24%, and you're above 24%.
Right.
I mean, they just, 24% was 3 months. They now think they want you to have, they think it's safer, more stable, to have 4 months of reserves. So they're just suggesting the third 4% instead of, it's 8.33% is a month for expenditure, so 4 times that's, right after school. So yes, I mean, you all have done well to maintain the 24 and get way above it. You were able to do some good things for the town and spend it down, and they're just saying, hey, the new guideline is 30.
Thank you. Board, anybody have any questions?
Tell me who exactly the LGC is.
The local government commission.
Where are they, local government here in Pitt County and Raleigh?
They're located in Raleigh, and they are the central headquarters where every municipality, unit of government is required to have an audit that's submitted to them. They have to review them, approve them, and then they make it a part of the state's audit. So you pretty much got the answer to them.
Are they part of the Department of Revenue? Are they elected? Are they appointed? Where do they come from? If I wanted to be one, how would I get to be one?
They're part of the state treasurer's office.
State treasurer's office,
They're in the
okay.
division of the state treasurer's office.
All right. I just wanted to know who we were talking about.
Yeah. You gotta talk nice to them. They're in charge.
All right, now, you said we've got one statute violation. Just as an understanding, how many statute violations could there be, or how many statutes are there to violate? I mean,
A bunch.
a bunch. So one's not really so bad.
Well, no, but it's like any ticket,
Yeah.
But yes, if we're aware of a statute violation, we gotta report it, and,
Okay, so I was just curious. Okay, so, and then also what was the other one? The performance indicator.
Performance indicator.
How many performance indicators are there?
That's unlimited. You got a workbook that's 40 pages long, you feed in numbers, and anything that comes up within an unsafe, they look at your quick ratio, your cash flow. There's all kinds of things they're looking at. And if you miss any of their parameters or hit any of their parameters, it spits out, okay, you can talk about it.
All right.
So again.
So do you have a list of all those performance indicators?
There's a workbook, I could give you the whole workbook.
Okay. Kind of like the tax thing we get from the IRS?
Yes.
Okay.
There's things in there that you wouldn't need to really think about day to day.
Right.
But that's new.
I was just wondering, how big of, how many indicators there are and statutes there are and all that.
Yeah, a lot.
A lot.
I can't put you the numbers, but there are a lot. Overall, this is not, you don't have anything bad here.
Yeah.
They want you to be proactive with the performance indicators.
Right. I was just kind of wondering how many performance indicators there actually were.
I don't know how many you could actually get out.
Okay.
Anybody else got a question? Because I'm going to refine Commissioner Smith's question in just a minute. Dr. Hobbs, do you have anything?
No.
Commissioner Elks? Commissioner Shacker? Commissioner Dixon, you got anything? Town manager, got a comment? I'm going to refine Bert's question. On a scale of 1 to 10, because I got the Bible right here. I know where we come from, and I know where we are, and I'm doing backflips over this, and I thank you. I'm glad to see having the 4 months there. I think it's great. I am thrilled with this audit, but that's just me. On a scale of 1 to 10, where are we? I'll take the 8. Thank you so much. And
I'd like to thank Amy.
Yes, sir.
and David for, helping us make this audit go. And, Amy really gets us stuff, makes it easy. She does a good job for you, keeps your books adjusted, and we don't go everywhere and things are ready for us like they are here. So we do appreciate it.
Well, sir, I appreciate it. And anybody got any more questions of Jay? Sir?
You can't really adopt an audit report because I haven't presented you one yet.
Right.
And as soon as it is approved by the LGC, we will get it to you, let you know that it was as presented, and at some point you'll need to approve your audit. Hopefully you'll have that next month. I think that happens to you probably this month.
Anybody else? Jay?
Can't take any action.
I got 24 years right here in my hand, and I want to thank you for what you've done. And the citizens of Farmville, I want you to know that this board has been a good steward of your money. And I don't usually ask for applause, but I'm going to ask for it twice tonight, and tonight's the first one. Y'all give this team a big hand for an outstanding job. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Jay, we're going to let you get out of here. We're going to move on.
Thank you all.
Item number 7, resolution approving the State Water Reserve application. And Rich, I think that's you. Is that right?
Yeah, I've got the next two on your agenda, and what we've got, the first one is, this is part of the American Rescue Plan Act money that has put about $1.6 billion into the North Carolina budget, and they are allocating that to serve for water, sanitary sewer, and drainage projects. And right now, they've done a rollout to where they are going to accept applications for their water and sewer on May 2nd of this year. They have approximately $758 million allocated for primarily construction-related activities. And in the past, the state has had a limited amount, primarily loan money, and they have always capped the amount of application spending at $3 million. And because of the impetus to try to not only allocate but spend this money, they're going to raise that cap to $15 million per program. And they've got to have this money spent by 2026. And all indications is 100% grant, whereas in the past they would base it on affordability criteria. Right now they're going to group you into pots of money based on your affordability information, so you're not competing against the Raleigh, Greensboros, Winston-Salems that can gobble up a lot of money at one time. We viewed this as a good opportunity to really address some of the big chunk type projects that we know we've got, that we've tried to get funded in the past, but we always hit that threshold where we had to have $3 million just to try to make some of them work. We were always like the number 3 rated project, but they'd always fund the first 2 and there was no money left, and we couldn't get by with any less. So what we're trying to do is position the town to apply for these monies. So we've met with the town staff specific to water program. We know that we've got needs that are primarily replacement of your remaining sections of old galvanized water lines. We know we've still got some roads that are problems. We've got the 12-inch cast iron line that connects the Main Street tank, crosses over and connects to May Boulevard. And we've got some of our existing wells that we need to raise the pumps in them. And because of that, we've done a resolution for your consideration that is to authorize the submittal of an application, authorizing the mayor to sign that application, really to address all of these specific components. And these are all projects that we've previously identified in your retreats under your capital improvement plan presentations. So, we are trying to be consistent with prior needs that we have identified that need to be addressed. So really think this is a good opportunity, you know, especially with that $15 million threshold and all grant money. So, you know, we don't know how competitive, but we're trying to make sure that, you know, we get it in there, because, you know, the sooner the better. People will catch on if they have a second round. They'll be a little more aggressive to it. So we want to be first in line as soon as we can get there. So be glad to answer any questions. Or
Anybody have any questions of Rich? Any questions and/or motion?
I got a question.
Commissioner Dixon?
Okay, help me understand. $15 million cap per application per activity. So this is one application.
For water, like, so
Okay.
for water, you can only get $15
So
million.
these are all underwater.
Right.
And then you're not submitting a sanitary sewer, but
That's your
you're,
next resolution.
okay. And then you're leaving the door open to do the drainage system later in the
The
year.
drainage will be, they don't have guidelines out for the drainage.
see.
They've got $88 million allocated to drainage, and those applications will be in September. So yes, we will absolutely come back and present drainage applications.
So $15 million cap for water, which this will be under, $15 million cap for sanitary sewer, and to be talked about in 10 minutes. And then
Right.
$15 million cap for drainage, which we'll do later in the year.
That's correct.
Thanks.
Is there a motion?
I make a motion, we approve the resolution authorizing this application.
Commissioner Dixon's made a motion that we authorize the application for the division of the water infrastructure. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Rich, you're still in the batter's box.
Yep. Next one is, this is specific to sanitary sewer related activities. And so what we've done is we've identified, you know, some of the critical needs we know we've got with our sanitary sewer system, and those include, you know, middle swamps, sewer outfall, where we've got a sewer line that runs right through the middle of the swamp, and we've tried to get that one funded, but it's, you know, it's a high cost ticket item. We know we've got the Farmville Housing Authority pump station that needs to be, you know, retrofitted, rehabilitated, and all the sewer lines in there are old vitrified clay. We know those have got to be replaced. We've got Bynum Drive and Pecan Grove pump stations that have some, you know, flood protection issues, and we've got some backup generator needs, you know, to kind of maintain service to our existing pump stations. And again, same thing. Projects all listed on our capital improvement plan we previously presented, and so that's what we're looking at doing. In terms of application. And one thing I should add is what I'm planning on doing is having that, you know, where I've got 4 programs, I'm gonna have 4 applications to the state can have the ability to, you know, they need to fund 1 or 4 or combine them. I didn't want the pointing system so that the generator project didn't score as much that it wouldn't pull down, you know, like middle swamp sanitary sewer replacement. So I'm trying to provide the flexibility so that we can get $15 million, but we'll take 10. You know, so and I don't want to you know, hurt ourselves by trying to group it all into one program. So these are our sewer activities that we've got so far, and just asking for consideration to file grant application for those functions.
Commissioner Dixon, you got a follow-up question too?
No, sir.
Earlier. Sir?
No, sir.
Okay. Anybody have any questions of Rich? Anybody? I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the resolution to go forward with the application.
Commissioner Smith made a motion that we approve the application. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Rich, thank you for all you do. The ayes have it. Thank you.
Much obliged.
We appreciate what you do, and we're excited about all the ARPA that we're going to be doing with. So thank you for that, and thank you so much what you're doing with all these CDBGs we're getting.
I
It's
appreciate
great.
y'all's help and support. So
Thank you. Thank you, and I hope you got your daughter's car started. Thank you. That brings us down to item number 9, ordinance to temporarily close Main Street between Horn Avenue and Church Street for the Dogwood Festival. David, you want this or you want Amy to take it?
I'll go ahead and take it. This is just the ordinance that the board considers every year prior to the Dogwood Festival to close Main Street between Horn and Church Street. And we just need to go ahead and get it in time for DOT to consider and approve it.
Okay. Board, you've heard the town manager. Any discussion? Is there a motion?
I I'll make that motion that we approve the closing of the streets for the Dogwood Festival.
All right. Commissioner Elks has made the motion that we close the street between Horn Avenue and Church Street for the Dogwood Festival. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Just so you folks in the gallery know, we are talking with the National Guard Armory about having a place for the vendors to park since housing has started in where they used to park, so that is in discussion as we speak. That brings us down to item number 10, consideration for the final agenda for the annual board meeting. David, I'm going to ask you to handle this because there's been a development there.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Members of the board, we have previously determined that our annual retreat would be on February 21st and 22nd, which is a Monday and Tuesday. Since that time, Commissioner Dixon has indicated that he has some continuing education that directly conflicts with these dates, and I think it's an annual thing that he can't miss. And of course, in the interest of having all of you present, discussed with the mayor, and actually Commissioner Dixon was in at the same time today. We talked about alternative dates. I sent out an email to all of you suggesting that possibly we could move it out 1 week to the following Monday and Tuesday, which was February 28th and March 1st. And I think most of you replied and indicated that you could accommodate those dates, and so like the board to consider. I don't think I talked with Commissioner Shackelford or heard from him, but I don't know if those dates are okay with him.
We're fine.
But the one thing that is a wild card, I guess, because we are, in essence, renting our courtroom for certain days, they had reserved, the court system had reserved that Tuesday, the 1st, this room for court, or a court. The 28th is available, but the 1st is not. So you may want to consider, I guess really the option is to have it in two places. Either you can start here on Monday and go to, say, the library or something on Tuesday, or maybe go to the library both days. We did go ahead and pencil in the library just in case you wanted to consider that, but I told her that I would let her know something tomorrow. So I'm not sure what you want to do as far as location, but the board needs to decide on the dates, finalize that tonight, as well as the location.
I think the board, I'd appreciate if the board would consider moving it to the library on the 28th, which is a Monday, and the 1st, which is March. And that way, it would be easier to get the word out, because we are expecting folks to come. The department heads will have time to get their folks there and everything. You won't be with it here. I mean, it just eliminates that. So I would ask the board to entertain that idea of moving it to the library. And the town manager has suggested the 28th of February and the 1st of March.
I have no problems with any of that.
Okay. Anybody got any comments on that? Can I get a motion on that?
But Mayor, also the draft agenda that's before you, if you could weigh in on that too. And I know one thing we added earlier with the discussion about the policy from the library, but
Right.
other than that, everything is still on there.
So what I'm looking for is a motion to accept the agenda and have the retreat on the 28th and 1st of March all in one motion. Is that good?
Yes,
At the library.
At the library. Can I get a motion? Dr. Hobbs?
I move that we have our meeting at the library on February the 28th and March the 1st.
Board, you've heard the motion. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Help us spread the word, audience. We will meet at the library on the 28th, and that meeting will start at, is that 8 or 9, David?
9 o'clock.
At 9 o'clock, and it'll be there on that Monday and that Tuesday, and all are welcome, and I look forward to seeing everybody there. That brings us down to item number 11, the budget calendar. That is in your book. The town manager mentioned that in his comments. That is for information only, and that brings us down to closed session, item number 11, in pursuit of North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A3, legal matters. Is there a motion? We go into closed session.
Do you want to do the closing comments? Or you want
Nope,
me to come
I'm going to
back?
stick to the agenda, please.
All right, I make a motion that we go into closed session at this time.
You've heard the motion from Commissioner Elks. We go into closed session. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. We are in closed session.